Hey guys, welcome back to Boys and Ghouls Film Review. I'm your host, Sarah Stephenson, and this is my co-host, Mike Stephenson.
Evening all.
And today we'll be reviewing another... We've gone back to doing more Indiana Jones fan films.
Sort of.
For a while.
Sort of.
Yes,
But
sort
his
of.
name's not Indiana Jones, though, is it?
Yes, this one's a bit of a spin-off of the same character, but using a different name.
Indiana Jed. That's totally different, isn't it?
Quite, but...
Why don't they call him Minnesota Jed or something or other? Or Seattle Jed or...
Well, for starters, it's still a famous name when you think
or
about it.
Chattanooga Jed.
But wouldn't you be asking me why he's called Jed instead of Jones, like he usually is called?
Well, no, it's supposed to be a break away from Indiana Jones, so you would think his name's not going to be Jones, it's going to be Jed. So, does everybody come from Indiana over there? No. And considering he was named after his dog... Wolf, whatever, baby dog. Indiana, his canine.
Woof.
A lot of fond memories about that dog. Well,
Well, let's get down to it. This was made by two twins. Twin boys.
Twin brothers.
And their names were Michael and Marc Linn. So these two did it when they were in high school, or
I'd say so. They're pretty young.
Yeah, and they did it in 1990. Well, it was released in 1992.
Actually,
I should say.
the behind the scenes film footage, I think they said they were students.
Yeah, they
at
were.
the local college or something.
One of the local colleges up there.
Yeah. Now, can I go through the list of who did what to whom?
Yes.
Okay. As with a lot of these fan films and spin-offs they're in, a lot of these people handle multiple roles. How's that? That's the best way to put it. Now,
yeah, there was about 80 students, kids in this movie.
Forget the extras. It was like a Cecil B. DeMille job. But anyway, irrespective. Now, produced by Marc and Michael Linn. Directed by Michael Linn. Second unit director was Marc Linn. Written by Marc and Michael Linn. Based on stories by George Lucas and Philip Kaufman. Director of photography. You guessed it, Michael Linn. Post-editing, Marc and Michael Linn. Sound, Michael Linn. Special effects, Marc Linn. Visual effects, Michael Linn.
Moving on.
Wait a minute. And Marc Linn played the second lead role.
Okay, moving on. Who stars in it before you get everyone?
I'm just going through the list of how they multitask.
Well, I just mean that we'll be here all day if you go through it.
That was it. So they were multitasking. Now, okay. Now, a young gentleman by the name of Jed Whalen played Indiana Jed. Now, he wasn't too bad, was he, you reckon?
Yeah,
I think he did pretty damn good.
I thought he was pretty cute. And pretty clever, too.
He handled the role, too, okay?
And he's pretty clever, too.
Yeah. Marc Linn, obviously, he played his offsider, Commander Marc Evans.
Yes.
Now, Heath Henriksen played Dr. Belloch.
You may have heard me comment a while back in another film review where I said that he reminds me a little bit of Val Kilmer, a young version of Val Kilmer.
He does a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does a little bit. Yeah, not lots, but there's something about his features like a young Val Kilmer.
A sweet Val Kilmer.
Now here we go. Matt Richards plays Cronin, which is one of the adversaries. One of Belloch's main henchmen.
Yeah.
Now the point is, he reminds me of Gary Busey or somebody. I just cannot put my finger on it. Really, can't place it. But his face does remind me of somebody. If you guys see it, you might say, there you might, same thing. But anyway, irrespective.
And the last one is Sean Kidd as Marcus.
Wait a minute, I was going to put somebody else in.
Okay.
There was a Suzanne Lianga, plays one of his lieutenants. Now, I'm not quite sure, I couldn't get a picture. I think it's a long-haired girl, maybe. And she was quite good. She played a reasonably good part, and she saved Indiana Jed and Marc Evans, Commander Evans, from the naughty guys. So she was a bit of a turncoat, whatever. Yeah, and so it was quite interesting.
Yeah.
Everyone had a reasonably good role to play.
Yeah, and I kind of did some research behind the scenes myself.
As one would.
Yeah, I found out that from Marc Linn, he says that the one thing he really liked about playing in Indiana Jed was that they worked so well together and they didn't argue or have fights on set, which is kind
Well,
of
him and
good.
his brother.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, you think that was a joint effort, so you'd like to think they're on the same page.
Yeah, also,
yeah.
Marc did all his own stunts in this film, just like Chris
Yeah, he
and
did, didn't he?
Eric did in their Raise the Lost Ark.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, that's interesting. And actually, the other guy, the play Indiana Jones guy, Jed Whalen, actually interesting, same name. Well, Jed and Jed. Yeah, he had a stunt double. He did to protect himself. You don't want to hurt the leading man, do you? No.
Well, well, it does. Well, yeah, it does. That's true. So another thing about this project is that I asked him, Michael, his brother, whether or not they ever, switched around whenever they wanted to take a break or want to do the acting for a change. And Michael says no, he doesn't do. They didn't do that, but it would have been a good idea. Granted,
They were identical twins, so you would have been really hard pressed
but
to pick the difference.
I think that more to the point that Michael had to do all the filming on this job.
He might have been better at doing the
He was the
filming.
not just the director of photography and director, but he also was the camera assistant for this job too.
Well, DOP, yeah, a whole lot, yeah.
Yeah.
He's everything. Yeah. Caterer, yeah.
Yeah, another thing about this, the boys, they didn't have any money for this project, but so they sort of traded in some Nintendo games to get a piece of equipment called, what's it called?
What's that? A gem lock.
Yeah, a
Really?
gem lock
Gem lock?
that allowed them to put computer graphics on screen. This was years
Oh, yeah,
back.
this goes back to...
goes back to
back
28
19
years ago.
Yeah, back in 1992, so it's old technology, but it was probably good back in those days, yeah.
There was... So another thing about this was that... Let me see. Here's another thing I found out. When they were filming one of their scenes, they filmed it when they were filming a special scene where they were throwing a car off the cliff. Kids generally don't try this at home. You could get horribly fined.
There's a bit of a story behind this.
Here's
Carl
the
will tell you
story
later.
behind it too. So I'll explain. The forest services fined them for littering for illegal dumping a car.
You can't... It was in a park or national forest or something rather. You can't litter, and obviously a wreck going over the wall of a cliff, cliff face, was littering, wasn't it?
Yeah, and Michael told me they were going to get a great deal more fines unless they didn't remove the remains of the car. So they stayed up all night, on a school night I might add, to remove it all into their friend's truck.
Oh, wow.
The fine from the Forest Service guys would have been probably $100, I think, he says.
It wouldn't have been huge, but when you're a school kid, you haven't got any money.
But again, guys, things have changed, and who knows? Maybe the fines may have gotten higher these days. So if you guys,
jail for littering nowadays.
So if you guys ever think about littering a car over the side of a cliff, be aware of what's going to happen.
There's a story behind the car. Well, we will tell you later. It's quite humorous, though, isn't it?
Yes, quite. So let's go dive into the actual story itself. So it takes place in the wilderness desert of sorts. Don't know where.
It starts off in a desert somewhere.
Yeah.
But there were Arabs there, so we'd like to think it's the Middle East.
Yeah, me too. It does look Middle Eastern looking.
Yeah, we had guys and Arabs and those little robes, little headgears and stuff. So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they go off into the desert, and they have to collect this artifact, which makes me think of the idol from Raiders of the Lost Ark.
It gets around, doesn't it?
Yes. Anyway, they collect it and they give it to Marcus Brody, and where Marcus tells them about a new mission they have to go on, which is a bit bizarre to me. How bizarre?
As soon as I walk in, it's very nice. We've got another mission for you. Okay. Can I breathe for a few minutes?
Could
No.
Could I at least have a few days of sleep?
Yeah, get over it. Lick their wound, so to speak.
Well, I guess we have like an hour to kill in a movie, so.
A bit of R&R.
Well, this is an hour old movie, so we can't really sit around and just pretend.
They could have said, can you go somewhere next week, maybe, would have been nice.
So anyway, they're told to collect a rare necklace that sort of leads them to an extremely dangerous power of sorts. And for anyone who gets that power would be looking at not
Yeah.
would be destroying the world.
Yeah, there's a bit more to without the necklace. This ultimate power thing is useless. You need both.
Yes,
Yeah.
one or the
So,
other.
Yeah, so if you don't have both, you can't get the ultimate power. Bring them together, and you're the keeper of the power and the whole, what, blah blah blah.
Blah,
and,
blah, blah.
You become a very powerful individual.
Quite. So anyway, Indy and Mark, they head to a hotel where they're given more information, and they ran into a friend named Cronin, who offers to come along on their
He
mission.
was their bestie.
Yeah, so
wasn't
while
he? Suck. Yeah, bestie. Yeah.
Yeah, so while they're in the hotel, their contact tells them where to go and gives them plane tickets and information about what to do next. And guess who's trailing behind them? None other than Belloch. Arr. And of course, he kills a man in a lift in the elevator, and he kills the contact. And it's
Exactly.
it's
Why
up
not?
to Indy and Mark, but then they discover Cronin is a double crosser or a bad guy.
Yeah, he's actually working for Belloch, not.
Yeah, and he's all every mission we go on.
We
Well,
never get anything from it.
don't
All
get-
the stuff goes to just the old museum, and
Yeah.
we get bugger all. So he said,
yeah, 2 cents bugger all or whatever.
Yeah, and he said, well, I want to get some money for a change.
Yes.
Always the case. It's all about the money, not about the knowledge or the antiquities or yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, soon enough, Indy and Mark escape Cronin and Belloch, and there's a bit of a brief car chase on the streets and in the alleyways, which was a lot of fun when I look at that scene. It was probably a lot harder to get everyone organized for that time.
Yeah, well,
I think that according to Michael, he says that the car chases were the most difficult part to
they weren't going all that fast, but it emulated a nice car chase.
Yeah, soon enough, they head to Indy's place. I think it's Indy's place. I could be wrong. Well, yeah, it could be Indy's place. And Mark is having second or third or fourth thoughts about going on this mission.
Yes, no, yes, no, yes.
But
no,
Indy is all saying, if we back out now, the fate of the whole world is at stake.
And he's a true hero.
And of course, Indy realizes that if they go on the day that they're going to get on the plane, Belloch and Cronin would meet them at the airport and take the journal that has the map where the special treasure
Yeah,
is.
they'll give them the journal when they went to that meeting at that motel, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Had
Well,
all the
actually,
good groovy bits in it.
well, they got it from Marcus Brody anyway.
Oh, Marcus gave it.
Yes.
Sorry.
So anyway, they're told. So Indy arranges for an earlier flight. So he phones in his to the airport, asks them, could we have some tickets to travel tonight? Yada yada yada.
Yeah. Very clever, hey.
Yes. So Indy and Mark, they head off down to India on the airplane and everything, and they start looking for the necklace. And it's interesting some of the shots they use in this scene.
Except I must admit, how do you put it? Michael, I don't know if he's been professional, did any training in film work. He a lot of his perspectives and angle shots are really good.
I agree.
He really captured really good, like a professional. So you do really good.
True. Yes. So
Kitty.
yeah, they eventually find it in a sort of a waterfall.
Behind a waterfall in a cave.
Yeah, and it's inside a small jewelry box or box.
Yeah, cute.
Yeah, they get the necklace out and they then take it to another part of the forest area, and are about to shoot the medallion, destroy it and everything. But then Belloch and his troops arrive to take the necklace away from them.
It's always the way, isn't it?
Yeah, and he's all pleased about it, and he says that he wants to know where the book is so he could find the rest of the artifact and all that
You'll
stuff.
never find it. No.
Yes.
Man.
But of course, they couldn't find it on Indy for gosh knows
They
reasons.
didn't check him properly, did they? Didn't do a cavity search, anybody?
Oh, well, it could be worse. Could have been a
They're
full
all
body.
pain in the, anyway.
Could be a full body search.
I was going to say cavity search. Nothing up here. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, they then tell him that they try to lead him on a goose chase or try to lead him, and they soon escape Belloch and his men, and they then head back to the car, and where we have a second car chase in this movie, and
Lots of car chases, eh?
I like it, and I like this one because this is where I told you guys about how they illegally dumped a car in the scene where it falls off the cliff, and
Well, so supposedly Indiana Jones is battling off a bad guy.
yeah.
And supposedly the car goes over the cliff while Indiana Jed and this other guy are battling in the car. But obviously jumped out the last minute. Yeah, so no one got killed.
Yeah.
Well, the other guy might have.
Yeah.
Jed's
I thought that was
survived,
really
but the car
awkward.
didn't.
I thought it was well organized. I mean, they
yeah.
had to do this in one take.
Yeah, we only
meaning-
had one camera, didn't they?
Yeah,
One
they
camera?
They had only one. Actually, I think there was two cameras.
Yeah, one was behind the scenes, wasn't it?
Yeah, one was doing the shot from
Up
the
top?
high top, and
That's
the
right,
other
yeah,
one
yeah.
had to be shot down at
Well,
the bottom
maybe second unit.
during the impact.
Yeah, maybe a second unit camera.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think that was kind of well timed.
Yeah, it
and
was. They did,
and
yeah,
had-
one go, one car, one go.
yeah. Of course, it's a
You
shame they.
wouldn't want to make a mistake, would you?
No, well, it's a. Unlike Hollywood, they have to do this in one take. So whatever mistakes they had to make would have been, well, it would be
Live
a waste.
with it.
It would. They have to live with the footage.
Take one. That's it.
Yes, meaning anyone in the frame, get out of the frame.
Can you get that ice cream vendor out of there? The catering van, the car park attendant. Yeah.
Yeah, I get that a lot sometimes, and it's lucky in this scene they had the opportunity to get this scene done and nailed.
Yeah, it's quite convincing. It was.
Mm-hmm.
There's only one thing I've got to say about that scene I didn't like, though.
Oh, do we have to?
Yeah.
Okay, here.
I mean, they could have had a dummy in the front of the car, so when the car went over the cliff, it actually looked like there's actually somebody in it.
They probably thought of that, Mike, and they thought.
They maybe couldn't afford a dummy.
They probably thought if they put a dummy in the seat, it would probably fall out
Well,
while it was spitting into.
No, you strapped in for seatbelt. You don't want to hurt the dummy.
And not to mention, how are you going to clone out the fact the dummy is in the seat when it hits impact on the actual ground? What then, Mike? They can't just take a crane and replace the car back on top of the cliffs there. They probably didn't have enough time to.
Or
do
money.
Yeah.
They're on
mean-
a skinny budget. Yeah, that's okay, Mark and Michael. You did good.
that. I mean, what if there was a mistake in the filming if they did it that way?
I know, one take.
One take and that's it. So anyway, guys, moving on. Mark
can't help it.
Mark gets upset that Indy is splat and dead.
Yeah, he thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
Jed's dead.
Yeah, and of course gets recaptured by Kronos and his men, and he's dragged back to the enemy camp. Of course, Indy's rides alongside them inside the actual part that
He
back
hides
of
the
the
boot.
car.
He hides the boot of the car. He pulls down the boot lid, and no one looks.
True.
Yeah, I don't know. It's all
Yeah, and of course.
Well, it's a really good one.
Yeah, and of course, Belloch is like, where's Jed? Don't tell me he got away. And Kronos says, his car went off the cliff, all that stuff. And he says, Jed's dead then. Well, if you don't want to reach the same fate, I want you to tell me where the book is. And of course, Mark says, we didn't hear that book. Jed had it under his hat all the time.
And no one took his hat off to have
Yeah.
a look.
Yeah.
Stupid, aren't they?
Yeah,
Those naughty guys are always stupid.
And of course, Belloch says it doesn't matter now because they know exactly where the second piece of the tablet, which was indicated in the journal.
Yeah.
That
He
would-
did lie, though.
Yeah.
Just to make Mark feel a
And-
bit upset.
They all cheered that they were going to be invincible force, all that stuff.
Yay.
And of course, Mark says, scum to the end, Belloch.
Yeah.
And Belloch says, better be scum than
Than
dead.
dead.
And of course,
He had a really weird maniacal laugh, didn't he?
yeah, well, you gotta admit, love that creativity there.
When he was chewing on his steering wheel when things weren't going right, it reminded me of a cartoon. Yeah, but anyway, irrespective.
Irrespective. So Belloch asks his men to take Marc away to be shot, fire squad away.
Yeah, well, I don't want any blood in the camp. Isn't that nice? Keep about homes and gardens sort of stuff, eh? Yeah.
So anyway, so Indy overhears where they're taking Marc, and he follows them, and as they're about to shoot Marc dead, Indy gets the jump on them, literally, because he climbs onto a wall and jumps on a couple of the men.
And grabs one of the guns, turns around and shoots a couple of them. Bang, wham, bam. Hey, Harrison Ford, eat your heart out.
Yeah, it's quite what good words to put it.
Yeah.
Go by. So anyway, Marc is thrilled to see dear old Indy,
Yay.
and they rush off. And of course, Marc tells them that they may have found the second stone tablet, and they have to try to, destroy the book and all that stuff in order to find it. But they just they realize they need to try to get the medallion back before any more trouble happens.
Exactly.
Yes, so they have to get to the infinite power before they do, obviously.
And no one knows what the infinite power is, or even what it looks like. But we'll know it when we find it.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
So anyway, there was another scene in this where Indy is climbing onto a abandoned boat, and several of the men try to tackle him in the scene. And it was pretty cool, especially the tackle scene where
he lost his hat. I saw that. It fell in the water.
Of course, one of the men grabs the journal and throws it to Belloch, and Belloch commands one of his men to use a bazooka, I think,
to shoot
the boat.
So
but lucky for us, Indy jumps out in the nick of time.
But Belloch's
Underling,
whatever, henchman, whatever you want to call him, got blowed up.
Yes.
Jed found his hat.
Yes. Of course, they get recaptured again in this, and Belloch is tempted to just shoot them right there on the spot, but Belloch has a second thought and says, "No, wait. I want you guys to live, so you guys can see how you failed in your mission."
Miserably. Yeah, whatever, yeah. What a nice chappy.
Yes, so he wants to see their faces drop when they find him getting the ultimate power and ruling the world, all that stuff.
If I ruled the world, whatever.
Yes, and of course Indy says, "Belloch, you're never going to get away with this." And then Belloch says, "Who's going to stop me? You!" In a weird bully kind of way.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Yeah, it's cute.
So he ends up telling his men to take him to a old prison type place down.
It looked like a drain to me, but that's okay.
Oh, well, we'll leave it at that.
A big concrete drain could have passed as a prison of sorts.
Yeah, so anyway, they get taken down to this place, and it looks very, cool when you look at it.
What's mad? I used to crawl around drains when I was a kid.
Same.
Rats, spiders, snakes, didn't care about when you were a kid.
True.
Now, wouldn't go down there for quids. No, that wouldn't happen. No way.
Yes. So anyway, the bad guys get another drop on them by, what's the name of the girl who plays the who helps Indian?
I think the girl was it just says lieutenant, so I presume it's Suzanne Lianga.
Yes. So the lieutenant tries to save Indy and Marc and try to help them try to stop Belloch in his quest for world domination.
As one would.
Yes. So there's this other scene in this movie where they end up using military type helicopters in this scene.
Yeah, it looked really good. They must have known somebody who had some stock footage or something or other, or it was quite good.
Yeah, according to the scene, I think I heard they weren't allowed. None of the kids were allowed on board of it, so they allowed probably one of the pilots or assistant pilots to record the footage on there.
Whatever. Yeah.
Or whatever.
So it's quite good.
It was good footage, and I thought it was really clever.
So yeah, a bit of cooperation from the Air Force or Army, whoever actually owned the helicopters. Yeah. They look like military ones, didn't they?
They did. So anyway, they soon land in, I don't know what part, but...
On the ground?
Yeah.
There you go. That's good enough.
Yes, they say it's a couple miles to get to the power thingy.
Well, we're in the right area.
Yeah,
weren't they?
right,
Yeah,
right, same area probably.
yeah.
So anyway, the lieutenant helps Mark and Indiana Jed out of some boxes that they were hiding in, which when you think about it is very cramped.
Well, yes. Luckily,
Yes.
we weren't fat like me, hey. And
Yes.
I don't know, 2 boxes for me, cut me in half and put me in 2 boxes. Oh, wait, that wouldn't work, would it?
Yes. So anyway, Indy discusses what their plan is. He plans to shoot Belloch, and the others will try to take out as many as possible when the time comes.
Exactly. Why not?
Yes. So
Kill the bad guys.
yes. So they split up, in different parts, and before they get close to killing Belloch, we hear what's his name, Cronus? Cronin yell that look what he found snooping around. It's none other than Mark, and
Not Mark.
and of course Cronin says, "Drop your guns, Indiana Jed, or Mark dies." All that stuff.
And Mark says, no, don't listen to him. Shoot him. Whatever,
Yeah.
do whatever. Or run away, whatever. Yeah.
But of course, Indy being the self-righteous good guy,
Really
he
nice guy.
puts the gun down. Boom. And
Self-righteous makes it a right term.
what?
Self-righteous isn't quite the right term.
Okay, what's the right term?
Just righteous.
Righteous.
A righteous guy. A really nice guy.
Being the
Self-righteous
righteous.
means you're a bit more like self-absorbed.
Okay, sorry. Sorry, got that wrong, guys. So, being the good friend, he puts down his gun, all that stuff.
Yeah, he does, and then they get taken into custody again.
Yes, and this time we get to see the ultimate power thingy they discover.
Yeah.
And it's lodged in there in the dirt.
Pretty lights.
And as Belloch reached out to it, he gets a bit of a shock.
Well, he gets zapped full of power, and it gets transfers partly into him somehow or other.
Yeah, and because thanks to his necklace thingy, it doesn't harm him or anything like that. Because unlike his other men who touched it, who got a very big shock out of it.
It was.
Yes. So anyway, he's all powerful.
And he had lightning coming out of his fingers, just like the Emperor Palpatine in Star Wars.
Yes, and
But better.
all his army cheer and think, "Oh, great, we've got all this power! Woo! We're gonna rule the world!" Woo!
And then he turns around, so I don't need you, scum, anymore.
Yes,
It's
now
mine.
it's
Or
all mine, all mine. Ha 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 ha.
Yeah, like a real loon.
Yes, and he then zaps Crone and then his army guys.
He zaps them all, and they all die and stuff.
Yeah, in different ways, in different parts of the scene, which was really cool. I like it how they did that particular scene where they just didn't zap everyone at once. Well,
Yeah.
they did one scene where he zaps all of them, but the
15 or
others,
20 people there or
but
something.
the others
yeah.
ran off in different parts.
And he goes, Zappo, one finger jobs. Hey, look, it's one finger. Zappo, another one over there. Zappo, another one over there. Zappo, yeah. And, yeah. And,
Oh yeah, I should mention before this happened that Mark, when he tries to escape another time, he gets shot by Kronos.
in the shoulder.
And the interesting thing about this scene, I should mention, when they were doing the shoot scene for that scene, they used a small firecracker and placed it on Mark's shoulder.
Yeah.
He wore a piece of cardboard underneath the cloth
To protect his skin.
Yeah, between the firecracker and his skin, so that he would not get burnt.
They went bango, and they did a bit of blood
Trickling
trickling there,
Yeah.
or whatever. It looked pretty effective for an inexpensive effect.
Yeah, again, guys, not encouraging you guys to do this, but be careful if you're.
Kiddies, don't do this at home, okay?
I mean, now that we have special effects here and there.
Yeah, you go into After Effects and Adobe. It works
Yeah.
quite well.
Yes.
Well,
So
we're using DaVinci Resolve, isn't it? And you can do it in there. There's other ones.
yes. So anyway, back to Belloch. He's all powerful and he's
And his voice has changed.
yeah. He sounds like he's on a loudspeaker.
Yeah.
Yes. Or
There's probably a reason for that. Yeah, but
yes.
how do you walk into McDonald's and say, "Hi, what? Big Mac and some fries"? Yeah, it just
Yeah.
doesn't work, does it? No.
Yeah. Anyway, Indy's the last one left he wants to kill, and so he tries to show off his powers by zapping a tree and trying to get Indy. by that sort of thing, and he's like, "Hello, Jed. I want to see you suffer." So he tries zapping him, and then he
He's
even
writhing on the ground like Luke Skywalker was when the Emperor got to him. I was waiting
Yeah.
to say, "Father, help me," but Dad wasn't there.
yeah, of course, Indy's screaming and yelling, and Belloch is saying, "How do you like your flesh?" And Indy,
Well done.
rare, medium, or well done. I will go for the well done. And he zaps his fingers and zap, 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 zap.
Yeah.
And
And Mark comes to rescue it.
yeah, Mark somehow is a little bit revived in the scene, so he kind of takes the ultimate power thingy and he throws it into a tree.
And it goes breaky, breaky.
And Belloch is his power.
He gets short
Short-circuit and
I think
dies.
he evaporates or something, doesn't he? Or
Yeah,
he
clever.
does it disappear?
Yeah, he
did,
disappears.
He's gone. He went. Gone. Finished.
Yeah, back to the gosh knows.
Back to the
what.
drawing board. There we go.
So anyway, Indy revives and all that stuff, and he approaches Mark, who's still a little bit out conscious. Oh, I'm out cold.
Well, no. What's he out cold? Oh, yeah, from the power.
Yeah,
thing.
and
Yeah.
Indy says, "Well done, Mark. You're a hero. You saved me." All that stuff, and of course he thinks he's probably dead or not.
Yeah, so he's not lying across. He's talking to him like he thinks he's dead.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he tries to beg Mark to not die on him, all that stuff.
Yeah.
And we think for a little while that maybe Mark may have died or something.
Yeah, we had the feeling.
It's just a funny feeling, I think.
Well, he was stunned by that power jolt, wasn't he?
Yeah. So soon enough,
Wakey.
Indy's back at the university, and Mark is just beside him. He's all better. And
who? Marcus is there.
Marcus has a new mission for them, and this time they want them to go to his brother-in-law's archaeology dig and all that
And
stuff.
where was it?
Nepal, I think.
Nepal. Doesn't that sound
Familiar. Yes. Of course, Indy and Mark are not up for it, and they leave the room.
Yeah.
While Marcus is still talking.
Marcus got their back to him, and they just they walk out of the room because come on, give them a break.
Yeah,
you know?
I would have liked to have a break after all that adventure time.
You go to Hawaii for a holiday or something. Do something.
At least.
Yeah, working holiday is not the same thing as a holiday.
Yeah. So anyway, I was just saying, I've already mentioned the actual car chases were the most difficult, obviously, and I should mention that Michael also made several other film projects after this, so this is not just a one-off or anything.
Anyway, just getting back to the car chase, they were scrounging for money and different things, and there were people doing things for free and whatever. But the local minister had this old car, still going, and he donated it to the boys so they could actually use it in whatever way they saw fit for the movie. The minister was then invited after the post-production was done, like a bit of a premiere at the home or something or other, and he saw his beloved old car go driving over a cliff. Now we saw some behind-the-scenes footage of the minister overreacting. I think he wasn't really.
He was just being light-hearted.
He was just being light-hearted.
I mean,
for the film,
he said that before he got his car involved, he tried to sell it to scrap people, and no one wanted it.
He was just too old and clapped out and whatever. He probably didn't really care. So that behind the scenes footage that they actually tacked on the end there was, I think, it did a setup for the movie. He seemed like a very nice minister. Yeah,
agreed.
But anyway, that car going over the cliff was good. What else was we liked about it? There's lots of good little bits. The special effects on a skinny budget weren't bad.
Agreed.
I find. It was, yes, it was a kid thing. Okay, teenagers, high school kids, But from what they did with their skills, and chances are, I don't know too much about Mark and Michael, whether they had any formal training or acting skills or anything else. But even as kids, they wouldn't have been seasoned professionals.
True.
and they had a go at it. And I'm like, okay, that's why I like these independents and the fan film stuff. A lot of these people don't have a lot of skills, not formal skills. They have their own skills. They bring into the medium, and you come along and you say, that's not too bad for a bunch like Chris and Eric doing that one. What's it called, the Raiders of the Lost Ark adaptation.
Yeah, the adaptation.
Now, that was brilliant for kids. They did those over several years. And these guys here have done something, I don't know how many weeks or whatever it took to make this one. They've actually done the same sort of thing with little to no money. And I would say little to no official trained skills that I'm aware of. So, yeah, you don't need to be trained up as long as you have a good imagination, good enthusiasm, and a little bit adventurous in trying something. How's that?
I do wonder,
Yeah.
I do wonder when they did get a legal fine for this. Did their parents?
Dumping.
Did Michael and Mark's mum and dad get for a cow when they?
Oh,
when
no,
it
they
happened?
might have say, okay, we'll pay the fine, but you got to mow the lawns next 6 months to pay for it. Whatever. Yeah. Whatever.
Yeah, that sounds about right. Oh man, I would hate to.
Mow the lawns, prune that tree over there. Take the garbage out every week, whatever. Yeah, they would have actually worked it off maybe if Mum and Dad had to pay for it. But
Anyway, do you want to rate it now, or do you want to?
anything else you want to talk about? I can't think of anything.
I can't think of anything else. I mean, I couldn't find too much about it online, except for the behind the scenes and getting a bit of one-on-one time with dear old Marc.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, it is available on YouTube, I believe. Is that right?
Yeah, I believe so.
That the only place? Is it not on Vimeo or anywhere?
No.
No, it's only on YouTube. So you can find it.
Yeah, another interesting thing about fan films is that you cannot. Well, some people can probably, if they have legal licensing, they could probably do it if they want to.
That?
Legal licensing rights to distribute and sell it, if they want to.
Yeah, so the problem is, as a fan type film, you'll get things like these happening all the time. It's supposed to be a non-profit thing. So as soon as you make it into a profit thing, then it gets, licensing fees and so and a piece of the action and be a percentage of cash takings, whatever. There's lots of things that get involved. So as a fan film, they're pretty good. They couldn't make money out of it, but if you made something similar without being a fan film, you can actually let it loose on a platform and make some money out of it.
True.
Yeah, somewhat.
Yeah, well, anyway...
Makes sense. Well, makes sense to me.
So, anyway, guys, it's on YouTube, so if you want to check it out...
Yeah, Indiana Jed, 1992, if my memory... Yeah, 1992. It is available. It's not a bad watch. It's reasonably good.
Yes.
I can't find too much wrong with it. It's not A-grade quality, and that's only because it's an old YouTube. Okay, the original, when it was made, it would have been a clearer copy.
It was done on a VHS.
The VHS video recorder back in those days, and it's probably the original version done on the original tape would have been a lot better than the quality of the YouTube you're going to get. It's still quite good. There's no major problem with it.
Nope, not major at all.
So but be prepared for that. It's old technology that made it, and it's old, like it's a digital copy of a VHS tape and stuff. So
yes. So
just be mindful of that.
So do you want to rate it now?
Oh yes.
Okay. So how do you rate it, Mike?
Now, again, I put different rating hats on for things.
Me too.
This is a kid, or I say kids, young person's, teenagers' version of a movie with little to no skills and on a virtually no budget. For their heart, their enthusiasm, the directorship and the camera work of the Linns, I've got to give it a 9.
I'm going to give it a 9.5 out of 10. So that's my opinion.
Yeah.
So
probably never for kids. I mean, honestly, people like this should go and be given a chance to make serious movies in the real world.
I agree.
I keep saying it just about every time, don't I? We do a fan film or something, or we're independent.
Well,
Hollywood, open your eyes.
Just so you know, guys know out there, they are going out of their way to make some movies of their own after this one. So they're really going out their way to do their own filming out there.
But the point is that the Hollywood isn't giving them a chance to break in easily.
It's hard.
So it's going to end up being, oh, well, made a movie here on limited budget again, and if we're really lucky, we might be able to get it on Netflix or something or other. But, but no one sees it unless you're looking on Netflix, or Stan or something or other, or,
Yeah, what drag.
Some of the products that come out are really brilliant.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah. No. It's just me. I think the system's letting the new guys down too much.
Yeah, I mean, there's probably a lot of future generation of
Filmmakers.
George Lucas, Steven Spielberg, and Nick Castle, other type of filmmakers out there that deserve a bit of their time in the sun.
But yeah, those old guys they started off young. They were new. Even Alfred Hitchcock, who's one of my great heroes, he started off, I think, as a screenwriter or something or other. And then he gradually made his way up, assistant directors and different things, and then became a producer-director.
Yeah, went up the filmmaking ladder.
And he made some really crappy movies in the early days. But he kept doing it, and he learnt by his mistakes, and he got better and better and better and better.
Yeah. Remember in the Hitchcock movie we discussed a while back, where he says that when he was thinking about doing Psycho, he thought he missed the old days where they just made the films. They may have not had enough money, but they still did it,
had to go.
And they still had to go.
And they had total control of the product.
Yeah.
They didn't have people standing over their shoulder saying, "You can't do this. You should do this." Blah blah. No. They had total control, and that's what he missed. If you're going to go the biodrama is accurate,
and if you're going to look into other filmmaker history, how many of you guys have watched Ghost Breakers? Quite a few of you guys are out there. I imagine
that's the one with
Bob Hope.
Bob Hope and Claudette Colbert, was it? Yeah, I think
And not to mention, years probably after that,
15 years later,
they made a Scared Stiff with Dean Martin and Jerry Lewis.
And they didn't want to make the movie because they thought, well, the original movie is better than what we're going to do.
It was a word for word of Ghost Breakers.
Well, yeah, what they did, though, wait a minute, can I say something?
Yeah.
Martin and Lewis said they didn't want to make the movie because the first one, Bob Hope, was a really fine movie, and they couldn't match it. And the Universal or whoever the studio were attached to said, "You're under contract, you're going to do this movie whether you like it or not." So they got Bob Hope's script and divided the lines between Jerry Lewis and Dean Martin. And it just didn't work.
It was a pale imitation of
the Bob Hope movie.
Of the story.
So the Ghost Breakers with Bob Hope was the original movie, which is a really, really fine piece of filming, whereas the Dean Martin, Jerry Lewis Scared Stiff is a
pale imitation.
A very, very pale imitation. I think it was dead in the box before it even came on the screen.
Not that I'm saying anything nasty about Indiana Jed. I mean, I do like the fan filmmakers. I'm just trying to explain that I don't see you guys as your film projects dead or anything like that.
No,
you guys have a great bit of talent out there.
We were talking about the studios and how they make mistakes and not doing the right thing. Yeah.
But you've got to admit, though, the independent guys, they do know...
They've got a lot to give.
They have a lot to give, and you guys know how to put your story together.
Well, actually, we did Tales from the Crypt the other day. You may have already heard of one now. I don't know what sequence they're going to go out in. The TV series. There are lots of people... Different people wrote different episodes, and different people did directing. And some of those people, you wouldn't even think, oh, that person wrote that episode. That person directed one of these.
And that person starred in one of those episodes.
Not always, but I think Schwarzenegger directed one of them.
Whoa.
Or wrote the script. I think he actually directed one of them.
Wow.
Yeah, and and people like that were involved in these things, and no one knows about them. You got to cut your teeth somewhere, and someone's going to give someone a go sometime. Otherwise, the industry's going to die eventually.
Yeah, and
whether it's going to be Hollywood, Bollywood, or somewhere else would, or whatever, so they've got to bring the new people in. Actually, Bollywood's probably getting it better because they're doing it more out of the excitement and joy of the filmmaking. And that's, I think, with a difference. I mean, if a lot of people don't like Bollywood, I don't mind some of it. But
some of it's pretty good.
Some of it's quite good. But the point is, they're doing it out of joy, and they like to make the movies. because they like the fantasy aspect and everything else, yada, yada, yada. Hollywood's lost that innocence.
Yeah, they keep
Yeah.
focusing on the money, not the creativity.
Exactly, and that's where I think they're going to lose out in the end. Anyway, I've said, it just comes out quite often, doesn't it, when we're doing these
I
independents?
know, guys. We keep talking about this, but we want to make sure the industry one day wakes up and says, "Hey, we should be focused on the creativity, less on the money."
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, you're gonna be either bankrupt if you don't give what the audience
Well,
wants.
here's something for some of you little people before we go. Okay. Now, some of you young guys won't know this, but some of the older guys there might. There was a music documentary done in the late 60s, about 1968, 69. It was Woodstock. Yeah, you know music. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix was there and all the other guys. Okay, fine. Now, Michael Wadley, I believe, who was the producer of it, he was looking for funding to do the documentary of the film festival. And he approached Warner Brothers. And I think they were the only ones they would speak to him. Nobody else would deal with him. And Warner Brothers, I believe, at that point in time, were almost at the stage of bankruptcy. And they said, we can only give you a couple $100,000 towards your project. That's all we've got in our books we can allocate to it. And they did it. And they did it on a reasonably tight budget, and they made a damn fine music documentary, which I believe helped Warner Brothers Studios. But now just want to touch it. Oh, we won't do that. They won't make any money. Well, it did, and people are still watching it today. That was the late 60s. It is now 2020, and people still watch it. So it must have made some money somewhere. So that's what I'm saying. So give the newbies a chance. And you'll be surprised at what they can. Yeah, they will pull more than a rabbit out of a hat. They'll pull a good damn fine movie out of the hat.
True.
So yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, so we might as well finish up for today, guys.
We've already rated it, but I know we go off on tangent about the industry.
Yeah.
But they're not giving the independents it's for fair shake, and it's the old guy's going to die.
Yeah.
I'm not saying I want anything to happen to him, but George Lucas ain't a young man. Steven Spielberg's not young anymore. Was it John Carpenter?
Yeah, John Carpenter.
John Carpenter. These guys are all getting old.
Yeah, and James Cameron is not going to be around for either.
Yeah, James Cameron. Yeah, get some new guys there. That the guy does Saw movies.
I mentioned to you guys a while back that James Cameron was not appreciated years ago when he made Alien 2, but they then appreciated him much later on when he did more movies.
Yeah,
he did Titanic. He did The Terminator. You name it.
Yeah, you make these good movies, but these guys won't last. Someone's got to take over, and they're going to come from the independents.
Yes, exactly.
Give them a chance, guys.
And do not give them a project from the producer's point of view, because the producers they don't know what to give anyone.
The companies don't know. Even these big companies, your Universal Studios and all the other guys. They still make commercial movies, A-grade movies supposedly, which bomb at the box office. So they haven't got it right.
Yeah.
Just churning out the same themes all the time gets boring, and people say, I've seen that sort of stuff before, I'm not going to go to the pictures to see it. I'm not going to go to the theatre, I'm not going to the cinema, whatever country and whatever you want to call it. They're not going to worry about going because it's the same crap turned out time and time again. They want to see something new and exciting. And entertaining. Entertaining.
There's that too, guys. So anyway, thanks for listening to this latest podcast, guys. This is Sarah Stephenson
and Michael
saying, see you guys around.
Bye.